We're through 3 rounds in the Fantasy Football Throne League, where 12 experts come together and our followers draft our teams. I had a chance to catch up with the Rapper, one of the experts in the draft, and we break down all 12 rosters after 3 rounds. Given the... You're watching the Fantasy Football Show.
I think Lindsey's a good running back too with upside.
I love that pick. I'm obsessed.
You can't really. He's a hard worker, man. He had a chip on his shoulder, and unless he's hurt, and I don't think he's going to be heading into week 1, because it's a wrist, whatever it is. He's the starter, man.
No, but you know why I like him though, right?
What?
All the bullshit, bro. I like him because last year, 45% of the snaps was RB13 and missed some games, RB1 before he got injured on a bad Broncos offense. This year, they have the coordinator who was the San Francisco 49ers quarterback coach, not to mention Matt Ryan's quarterback coach his MVP season, and he knows how to use the running backs. San Francisco, they run the zone scheme, okay? And anybody they plug in does great at running back, right? And he just said he wants to use Lindsey in space. And they line their running backs out in the slots. Not only that, but they signed Lawan James at right tackle. They drafted that mammoth of a man, Risner, so their offensive line is going to be stacked. You give a guy like Lindsey that type of blocking, and then you put him in space with 4.35 speed, Lindsey his floor is an RB13, and he'll probably get more snaps this year. So Lindsey is a guaranteed top 10 running back at the 4th round or end of the 3rd. I couldn't be happier. I'm ecstatic right now.
Yeah, Lindsey, he was not off my radar heading into January of his rookie year. He was running back 4 or 5 for me before anybody even started doing rankings and stuff. And then when he got hurt, he was snubbed from the combine. Everybody dropped him out if they even had him on their radar because, a guy doesn't show up to the combine or get a combine invite. You get worried about whether he's going to be taken seriously. So he naturally dropped out of my, top 8 or so running backs, but I've always liked him. I don't see him as a person that's got a very, loose grip on the starting job like a lot of people think. I liked Freeman. He's a good handcuff, but I think Lindsey's got a lock on the job, and he's
this is what I think. I think they're going to work hand in hand. I think Lindsey will be an RB1, and I think Freeman will be an RB2 without an injury because of that zone blocking scheme. It's it's one of those plug and plays. You do the zone blocking right with those 2 giants up front, and then you're going to put them out in space. And Royce Freeman's actually a very good catcher himself. He's a bigger guy, but he can catch the football. So I think there's room. And then we know Flacco and his affinity for those little dump passes. So I think there's room for both of them to be fantasy relevant.
Let me ask Cowboy. Cowboy's in the room. He's Team Council Nation, right? Cowboy, I think he is.
Yeah, I know.
Cowboy, he defends the picks and everything. So I'm honestly asking Cowboy, do you really honestly love the picks you guys have? Because every one of them is a reach by not a little bit, but by a mile. DJ was a reach by a mile. Henry was
I think Lindsey could be better than DJ. Not even trying to be funny. I think Lindsey can and probably will have a better year than DJ. I think
I'd take DJ 9 times or 100. I'd take DJ 10 times out of 10 over him, but I'm not going to argue that Lindsey has the upside to kind of reach that potential, and DJ has the upside or the downside and the risk to drop out. So I think Lindsey has less risk than DJ. DJ has more ceiling, but Lindsey, Lindsey's like a Marshawn Lynch type. Never going to be the number 1, but man, he could be legit low end running back 1 for sure. And so you're getting him so late. How can you complain? I like it. I like the pick. Who you guys leaning for the next pick?
Cup.
Is it pretty hardcore?
Yeah, it's done.
Okay,
80%.
So we're gonna wait until Monday morning, bright and early, guys. In case you're just checking in, we're not gonna announce the pick until Monday, bright and early. But it sounds like it's gonna be Cup, and then we're gonna kick off the second pick in the 4th round right away and blast right through the 4th round. And when I say blast, I mean 4 or 5 picks a day. But yeah, so Cup. You and I disagree on Cup a little bit. We actually have a side bet for all the people watching. I bet that Calvin Ridley outscores Cooper Kupp. He bets me Cooper Kupp outscores Calvin Ridley, and the loser has to do something on a live, and I'm going to do a fireplace apology to the rapper. He's going to do an apology rap to me. So it's Ridley versus Kupp. Want to talk about Kupp and why you like him?
Well, the way I typically like to draft, I like to form my three-headed monster. And what a three-headed monster means to me is I like to get 3 top 10 running backs. A lot of people think that's crazy. And what I mean by that is by the end of the year, I want to have 3 running backs that are playing in the top 10. So I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. Everybody's probably thinking, how is that even possible? Well, the end of last year, there was 4 running backs during the fantasy playoffs. There was 4 running backs that were RB1s that were waiver wires. Damian Williams, Jamal Williams, Jalen Samuels, and Elijah McGuire were actually RB1s. A lot of people don't know this, through week 14 to 16. So I want to have 3, so it's not crazy to think you can have, like, let's say Phillip Lindsay's an RB1 and Chubb's an RB1, and then through the year I get a waiver just like what happened last year. So it's not crazy. It's possible. That's the way I like to form my team. Unfortunately, 2 guys I was eyeing, Kerryon Johnson and Aaron Jones, to kind of form that three-headed monster, were chosen. So at that time, I didn't want to reach for a running back. I felt like Freeman is complete trash. You know how I feel about him. He's injury-prone. He's small. It's a passing offense. Freeman was not an option for us. Even Jacobs, if he was there, I don't think we would have went with him. So you have to go to that fallback plan. The fallback plan was get the highest upside, the most consistent receiver, and we felt that was Cooper Kupp. He was a wide receiver 1 last year. I think he was maybe number 4, led the league in touchdowns before he got injured with 6. So we felt that the reason why I like running backs, they're usually more consistent than receivers, and he's one of those guys that was super consistent. So if you can't get a running back at that position, we went with the best available, who we felt the best available and the most consistent, and that's how we ended up with Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. I'm not a super big fan of his, but, I respect the take and the opinion, and that's why we play the game, and I certainly am not right. No one's right about even 75, 80% of the stuff that they crank out. So I think for anybody to say, this can't happen, I think that's pretty ludicrous. So for you to say Cooper Kupp's going to be a top 15 wide receiver, it'd be dumb of anybody, I think, to say that can't happen. I mean, anything can happen. I just think the odds are against him staying healthy and being as good as some of the other players here. But that's just one of the picks that you made. And everyone could argue the Mahomes pick. I get that left and right. I can't tell you how many people tell me on the hour that it was an amazing pick, for sure, no brainer. And then literally about a third of the same responses, I get about 2/3 of that. And then the other 1/3 is like, you can't take Mahomes early. Like, it's so funny how such a stark difference between people that either love taking Mahomes in the 3rd or think it's like a death sentence to take him in the 3rd. And it's like, there's so many ways to win. To assume that you're going to lose because you want to bank on a later wide receiver that you think can be, just like you, banking on Lindsay being as good as some of the running backs in the later half of the first round, and you could be right on that. And if you land that, shifting the way you drafted wide receiver running back could work out really well for you. Same thing with me. That's my thought process. If I firmly believe that Pat Mahomes will throw for 45 TDs, 50 TDs, score a total of 50 TDs, so throws 44, runs for 6, whatever, then if I land my wide receiver where everyone's taking their quarterback, I crush it. So that's my approach. You can't really argue it. I love when people try to argue it. You can only argue that both approaches could work. You just got to land it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have went Mahomes, and I like the pick less. Like, I get why you did it, and, it makes sense to a certain extent because, by far he was, I guess, technically the best player available. But the problem I have with the pick, did we freeze here?
No, I'm here.
Okay, you frozen, but as long as you could see me. So the problem I have with the pick is the way our scoring system is. If it was 6 touchdowns per quarterback, I think I'd like to pick more. The fact that it's only 4 points per touchdown makes me like to pick less. And I do have a question for you about Cooper Kupp, since he was, I think, maybe top 4 receiver before he got injured. What part about the Cooper Kupp pick do you like? Do you dislike the most? Is it the injury concern because he got the ACL, or is it something else? And who would you have taken over Kupp in that spot.
Yeah, to answer the second part of that, I have to pull up the draft log and look because that off the top of my head, I'm doing so many drafts. But let me pull up. So Cooper Kupp last year, obviously had some big games. In week 4, 162 yards and 2 touchdowns, 71 and a touchdown the week before. He had a touchdown on week 1. He had 89 yards and a touchdown on week 9. He was legit. Like, he was doing really well. But we still have never seen him have 1,000-yard season. We still have never seen him stay fully healthy. I mean, he played in 2017, played 15 games, but he had the 869 yards and the 62 receptions. We just haven't seen him blossom into a player that I think you take in the late 3rd or early 4th round, to me. So for him to be my 3rd or 4th drafted player, I don't like it because he hasn't proven it to me. But guys can emerge all the time, so I'm not saying it's not possible. But for me, I think Woods grabbed the hold of a lot of the target share that Goff needed to, like, turn to somebody and give. And I don't think you're just going to be able to rip it right out of Woods' hands, who Woods had a big year. Cooks is amazing. They have 3 really good wide receivers. And for a guy coming off injury, yes, I don't know that he'll be fully ready to go and healthy, or if he's ready to go, I don't know that he'll be near 100%. I don't know. It's more of like if he fell to me in the right spot, like a round or 2, round and a half at least later, because I won't take him even probably within 10, 12 picks of where you're taking him. I just wouldn't even consider it myself. If my followers voted on it, we're taking him. I don't care whatever they say goes. But for me, I got to see it before I believe it. And there's players that's contradictory because there's players where there's that doubt too, and I still take them. So.
Yeah, because I was going to say Cook. You could say the same thing about Cook.
Yeah. So call it gut instinct more than anything, and just the fact that I haven't seen it yet, and he's never had a 1,000-yard season. So gut instinct mixed with the history of him, he got hurt. So, but to think
this as a rookie, which honestly we both know, rookies rarely really make an impact. As a rookie, dude had over 800 yards as a rookie in 15 games. So he missed the game and still almost had 1,000 yards as a rookie.
Yeah,
last year he was on pace to blow it out the water and lead the league in touchdowns. So that to me is just crazy.
But wide receivers, they need more than they need less time than a running back to return from an ACL tear. But still, the knee itself, and you and I talked about this before, you need a full year of playing on it. And then that next year, you have a potential to be fully healthy if you're in the right age range. And he is. He's 26 years old. He could potentially
be. Is he that old?
Yeah. So he's 26.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, in a 2019 only league, a yearly league doesn't matter. But my point is, for recovery wise, you're better off in the. There's some stats on it, but if you're in the 20 to 24-year-old age bracket, recovering from an ACL tear, especially as a running back, is very, very doable. Like, you can come back to full strength. Once you get, I think, over like 25, 26, it becomes a little bit harder for a running back, but a receiver probably can do okay. But I'm just thinking, it's going to take him a while to get to his ideal place. And what if he has setbacks? You often.
But I give you this example. Okay, I have a contrary, Jordy Nelson, a couple of years ago, who was over 30. Tore his ACL, missed 2015, led the league in touchdowns 2016, over 30 years old. So I'm concerned more. I agree when it comes to running backs, because running backs have to do all that cutting. And most of it, they say, when it comes to the ACL, is the psychological part. Because, they're always thinking, damn, am I going to hurt my knee? Is somebody coming after my knee? Receivers, because they do a lot of straight line running, it's not as prevalent. So that's why I felt a lot better about it.
One thing to keep in mind, and Cowboy just mentioned this, and I wanted to kind of use what he's saying here to speak to it, but I have a lot of knee injury history and tore my ACL. When you tear your ACL as a football player, in soccer, you can slide just right, use the ground, and kind of almost like tear your ACL without any other tears. But like in football, it's pretty hard to tear your ACL without doing more damage to the overall knee, because your knee has to, here's your ACL, your knee has to actually do something like this, and either tear or pull on the MCL and give you a slight tear there, or pull on your LCL and give you a slight tear there. The MCL and the LCL rarely snap in half. The ACL usually always snaps in half, and then it just kind of bounces around like a rubber band. And when I tore mine, it's in the way. So sometimes I couldn't even lock my leg, and then it would fall out of the way, and then I could lock my leg, then it'd be there. That's why you got to have it taken out. Even if you decide not to have surgery, you got to have the ACL part taken out if it's lingering there. But my point is, when you tear your ACL and your knee goes like this, you need to do that in football. You usually damage the meniscus. So Cowboy was saying he has meniscus problems. When I did that, I tore my meniscus, and what they do is they kind of like when you bite your fingernail and you cut off a piece of that meniscus that's torn, you're still leaving a very irritated place, and a lot of people continue to tear it and tear it and tear it. He's not necessarily out of it. We don't know no one's really talked about how bad his knee was everything else intact. A lot of people say everything's also intact. I had a big grade MCL sprain, but it healed. It's still sore to this day. A lot of other things could be going on, is my point. So coming back, we'll see where he's at. A lot of times ACL guys end up pulling their hamstring that year and having some issues from compensation. We'll see. I predict he has a big hamstring lingering issue, but we'll see.
Gotcha.
Let's take a look at the rosters, man. I'll pull it up, flip screen here, and we'll kind of go through them, and you tell me what you think, A, B, C, D. So Here we go. I'm going to say A, but I know I'm biased. Go ahead. After 3 rounds.
You're still frozen, so I'm just going by what I hear. So, all right, go ahead.
Can you see my screen?
Oh, no. Let me leave, and then I'll come back.
Okay. Okay, so Rapper's going to jump back in, and we'll go ahead and look at the teams and kind of rank them. Look at fighters that get KO'd, mental side, huge part. Nelson also had Rodgers. Yeah, I agree. P.S. It's definitely different. Rodgers made his wide receiver, no matter who it was, just like Brady, into a good player. I'm not saying Goff isn't good, but Goff's going to have so many people to spread the ball out to. I think it's very, very different. I agree. I saw the counselor jump in, Diamond. I don't know if he's still here. Who is it that wanted to talk about the Dairy Queen thing? All right.
All right.
We're going to go give a grade A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to say A. I'm a little biased, but go ahead. Hit me.
I'm going to say I'll give you a B.
Okay.
I'll give you a B. Maybe B minus. Counselor, man, I gotta go D.
Yeah. D for a. I want to give him an F, but I want to give him a D for. Okay, so
he gets a D because he drafted Montgomery, and I love that pick. But the other two, I don't like at all.
I'm okay with the Montgomery pick. The David Johnson pick, not that I don't like DJ or that he can't sneak into, because it's very hard to believe all 4 of the running backs will return to the top 4 come end of season. So DJ could easily slip in as the 4th guy, the 3rd guy, but you just don't take him at 1.01. I can see you passing on one of the big 4, but all 4 of the big 4, it's just crazy. So this makes it a D no matter what. But Montgomery I like a lot. Henry was just like a whole 12 to 15 picks early.
Henry was an F.
This is kind of like worst. This is kind of like you say, where's the 2nd rounder? Like I see, okay, so you must have had a late first round pick.
Seriously, first round.
Here's the late first round pick. Oh, so you got the 8th spot. Okay, here's your 8th overall pick. Okay, so you went early on Montgomery. Damn, you must have taken him like at the top of the 3rd. But here's your 4th rounder right here. Here's your 4th rounder. No, where's your 2nd? Oh, you traded. This is a dynasty league. You traded for a future draft pick. Yeah.
Oh shit!
All right. So D.
Yeah, he should get an F. Fuck that. I'm done. Okay. He gets an F, bro. Okay. He's got no 2nd rounder.
This is the only team I like as much as mine right now. Barkley, Damian, Kittle. I like that a lot. I do think that he has a chance to, because I give myself an A. I think these 2 teams are very similar. The only difference is instead of going, Kittle, we have Mahomes. So once he gets a QB here, I'm going to like this team a lot, but it depends on if we land our wide receiver or whatever. But I do like this team a lot. I give my team an A plus because I love it, but I give this an A minus. I think he's really close.
I give him a B as well. I think you guys. I like Damian Williams. I thought where he got him was amazing. But I don't like Kittle. I don't like Kittle at the end of the second. I think Kittle's a little bit overrated in the sense that the Niners had no other pass options. They had a terrible defense. They were throwing it. When you have a bad quarterback, what do bad quarterbacks or rookie quarterbacks tend to do? They tend to play it safe and lead towards the tight end. So I don't think Kittle is that much better than O.J. Howard or Evan Ingram. I know I'm probably in the minority. That's fine. So I don't love that pick. I thought he should have went, I don't know who was available there, but I would have went somewhere else. And I do have I love where he got Williams. It was a slam dunk pick, but I feel like he's like Cinderella and he could turn into a pumpkin at any time because he's 27. He was a journeyman before that. He's in a system offense, which they could plug and play anybody. So, so I can't give him an A. So I'll give him a B though. I think he did a solid job, and any team that has Barkley is amazing.
Analyst, McCaffrey, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, very solid. I give this one a B minus to B plus in my opinion. I think that Allen, for whatever reason, call it a gut instinct. I don't have much more to tell you on that. There's just things where I'm like, dude, I don't feel it. I'm not feeling that Keenan Allen's going to be worth the cost this year, the price of admission. I think Evans is fantastic. The only thing I'm not saying I'd go back. I love the Cook pick, but if we did take Evans, it wouldn't have been a drop-off and definitely would have had the balance that I think a lot of people were looking for, but I still love this man, and I don't regret it at all. I'm just saying we were a toss-up. Sorry, where am I? Toss-up between Evans and Cook, but this is a good team, B minus B plus, but he could go downhill if he makes the wrong moves.
Oh, I want to address this guy saying the Chiefs don't use a committee. What is this guy talking about? First of all, that is not correct. Even Kareem Hunt, when he was there, Kareem Hunt only had 60% of the snaps. A lot of people don't know that. So to say that the Chiefs do not use a committee, now I will say Damian Williams will be the lead back. He will probably have about 60% of the snaps and most of the touches. However, they do use a bit of committee, but that's not even the example I was giving. I'm just saying that because they have another talented running back, which I really like, Darwin Thompson.
I like him.
So that's what I'm saying. I think Damian Williams, there's still that notion in my head that he could turn into a pumpkin because he's not the most talented running back ever. So I wasn't even talking about the committee, but since you brought that up, they are in a bit of committee, not a full-blown committee, but this assumption that the Chiefs don't use multiple running backs, even when they had Hunt, is just simply not true.
Yeah, okay. So let's go with what are you going to give him a grade?
I think Analyst has done the best job. I do agree with you, however, when it comes to Keenan Allen, because I just think Rivers is so overrated. And he's just looks so disgusting throwing the football. So, but I do like where he took Allen. Was Allen taken ahead of Thielen?
Yeah, Allen was taken, I believe, like right after we took Mahomes. So I think Allen was on the board for us. No, was he? I don't know. Let's see. I can pull it up.
I think Thielen went after Allen.
Okay, hold on. Let me find out right here. Keenan Allen went at 3.03. So, yeah, right before that's right. He wasn't available for us. That's right. So he was gone. Damian Williams went as well. We were considering Damian for sure.
So so I was right. Thielen went after Allen. Okay, yeah. So, that's the only reason I can't give Analyst an A. I thought his first two picks were an A. I thought Keenan Allen is solid, but I would not have chosen him over Thielen. So therefore, I got to give him. I'll give him a B plus.
Now, what the hell happened here? State of mind. He's usually on it, but what the hell are you doing here? Like, there's no advantage to having two tight ends at all. Because you're starting one. Yes, you could start one as your flex, but I think it leaves you so thin. I don't really get it. I don't think anybody's going to trade him something big for it. So I don't know if there's a trade technique or approach. But I think that with Kelsey and Zeke, I don't like Kelsey early usually, but I think that he would have done well for himself. And this is a scenario where I preach to take Pat Mahomes. So if you do take, let's say, Kelsey and Zeke early and you can take Mahomes in like the third, you have such a powerhouse and balance on the running back and QB side that you can afford to be thin at wide receiver. This right here is just, I mean, Mahomes wasn't available for him, but this is just, I don't understand this. Like this ruined the momentum he had. I give him a C now. Maybe a B minus just because of the Kelsey and Elliott. But man, he's going to be so thin later.
I don't know how you're giving him that higher grade. I was thinking F, but I'll give him a D because his first 2 picks were pretty decent. But bro, I've never seen this shit.
Yeah.
2 tight ends in the first 3 rounds. Not when he had 2 great wide receiver options. I mean, I'm not the highest on Keenan Allen, but you had Keenan Allen and Adam Thielen right there. And I don't know why people are just sleeping on Thielen. He's been a wide receiver 1 2 consecutive years and had 8 straight games of 100 yards. Like, I don't know how you could take Ertz.
Wait,
D, and I'm being generous.
Real quickly, we got to take a comedy break. 1 second. Okay, back up. Just needed a laugh. All right, so okay, Prophet. He got a lot of comments that people liked it, but I don't see that. I think his team's good, but I don't like Fournette at all. Fournette's going to leave him hanging, bro.
Yeah,
Fournette can't be your running back 1, I think, in this situation.
I will give Prophet.
I'll give him a C.
Okay, you give him a C. I think I'll probably agree with you there because the way I look at it, Prophet, okay, he picked DeAndre Hopkins, got no problem with that at number 6. But then you got to look at each round. So in the second round, he picked AB over Evans, which I would not have done.
Right.
So he gets deducted a point there. And then he went Fournette. You see, I don't have a problem with the Fournette because he went 2 wide receivers. So Fournette does have the biggest upside. So it's not even the Fournette pick. It's more so the going AB over the, and Fournette's an okay pick. So I'll give him a C plus. I'll give him a C plus.
I think Fournette's got upside, but as your third drafted player, I know that's where he's going. It's not a reach in a lot of people's mind, but if he leaves you hanging, and tell me one, I've had people say, why are you so down on Fournette this year? You were down on him last year. And my question to them is always, what has he done since last year that is going to give you any sort of confidence restored?
A DUI. He got a DUI.
A DUI where you get handcuffed. Yeah, I know it was a traffic violation, but he was warned. Hey, shape up. We're about to write you off. The Jaguars almost wrote him off in like January, February. A report came out saying he's done in Jacksonville. And then it said for a clean slate, and then he goes off and, speeding, 100 miles an hour or whatever, gets cuffed. Go work, dude. Stop making horrible decisions. And, I don't know. I think I give it a bad. I think it's a bad pick for me.
Well, you know what? He did DM the counselor. So, maybe now that he's made amends with the counselor and he's got him, maybe that'll bring him some good aura. You know what I'm saying? He won't have the counselor yelling at him anymore.
We need to, what we need to do, campaign more for when a guy's taken, everybody in the comments of that expert tags that player. Like, we haven't been doing a good job of making people do that.
I agree. That's a great idea.
If you're watching now, guys, and when somebody picks a player, I don't care if it's me announcing that the rapper chose, the counselor posts a pick of the upgrade of the update. Every time a player's picked, you need to tag that player, let him know he was just taken in the biggest fantasy league ever.
Yeah, great idea.
Okay, Nation.
All right, Gordon. I can't. You froze again, so you're gonna just have to read me the team.
Okay, Gordon. Can you guys see the screen as well? But Gordon, Todd Gurley, Adam Thielen for the Nation.
Gordon, I'm not a big Gordon fan, but where he got him, I think was fair. Obviously, I do not like the Gurley pick at all. I think we'll agree on that. I think Thielen was his best pick, so I'll have to give him a C.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and rank this team a C because of you guys know my thoughts on that, and I think that is what burns them. And then you got another injury-prone guy that even on 15, 14 games could still be a top 5 to 7 running back, but that's not a good look there. Now I don't know what the hell I'm looking at here. I know you said you sniped some of your picks. I know you liked Mixon, but man, this was a bad pick in my opinion because I think it just leaves your team looking really thin. And then Carry On I like a lot, but I mean, as your third player, It's not like he has a fourth player. Like in your situation, if Kerryon was like one of your 2 picks, it'd be different because he could technically be your 4th drafted player. But for him to have this as his roster, and it's just like Joe's. It's like right here. You're like, where's the 2nd round pick? And for here, it's like, yeah, where's the 1st round pick? I could see Mixon being top of the 2nd. I can see Hilton being in the 3rd and Kerryon being in the top of the 4th or middle 4th. But it's like, where's the 1st rounder? That's what happens when you take guys that are way ahead of their ADP. Look, you have a team that looks like this. Sorry, Guru. Earmuffs, Guru. Earmuffs, Guru.
Is he on?
I don't know. But hey, prove me wrong, Guru. Show me. I like the Guru. Guru's good people.
So this is what I think about Guru. I think if not for the Hilton pick, I think he has a great team. I think he fucked himself by not getting – I think so many people passed up on Mike Evans, and I don't understand why. He only had 1,500 yards last year, and Bruce Arians is now the coach. So this passing up on Evans, I just don't get it. Had he gone with Evans, I would say he has the best team. I'm huge on Mixon. Mixon, for me, is going to be a top 3 running back. You can take that to the bank. So for me, Mixon is not a 2nd round pick at all. I think he's a phenomenal pick, and I think he's way better than the 1st pick, DJ. So I think the only reason he fucked up was the Hilton pick and passing up on Evans or Cook. But I would have chose Evans.
Fix is asking about his team, so we can jump to him real quick. But I think Guru gets no offense, Guru.
I love Kerryon too, though. So I think Kerryon's got top 10 upside.
Earmuffs, Guru. I'm going to say this is a C at best, maybe D, but that's my opinion. Let's go to the Fix because Fix wants to know.
C+. I'll give him a C+.
Okay, so here's the Fix. Jacobs, Julio, Mike Thomas. I like it. Jacobs is kind of your, make or break because he's a running back 1. I love Julio. I love Mike Thomas, but Jacobs is very unproven to me to be your top running back because he's the biggest year ever in college with 650 yards. Talk about Jacobs, meet rookie wall. You can't even, you don't have a resume of a full college season. How is he going to make it past week 10 on a full workload? So for me, it's just risky in a yearly league draft to have Jacobs as your running back 1. So for that alone, he gets at least a B-, but, stud wide receivers. And if Jacobs proves me wrong, he'll be right in the running.
Fix is not going to like me much. I think you were very generous with the B-. I don't like going double wide receiver, and the reason I don't like going double wide receiver is because you end up with a guy like Jacobs as your number 1 running back. Gruden's not known for producing number 1 running backs. I think Jacobs has a pretty safe floor, but I think he'll be like a 10 to 15 point type player. I don't see much upside with Jacobs. And you're extremely thin at running back. If Julio gets injured, like I think he will this year, he's already got a foot problem. Michael Thomas is super inconsistent. I think Fix has arguably the worst start on the throne.
Let's go over to the Rapper. All right, give yourself a score here, and assuming you're going to get Cup, but because no one else has a 4th player, let's leave Cup out of it.
Okay, so we'll just base it on the first 3 picks. I mean, you got two RB1s, and you got JuJu Smith. Based on where we were picking, based on the way, I would give myself an A. Okay,
I'm gonna say that this it's a tough spot to be in, the spot you got, because it thinned out really quick. I think Lindsey could be like your saving grace, a guy that one of the last guys that has the potential to be as good as the guys you missed out on with that long wait you had. But I think Chubb could be easily top 5 to 10 when he's on the field. That's the only concern. But I think JuJu's definitely a wide receiver 1. Chubb is definitely top 5 to 10 potential. Lindsey's, so I'd say it's a B, definitely a B. But I don't think it's better than mine or Couch's because I think we've got way more bigger guns. But if Chubb ends up being bigger than we think, if he's like a top 1 to 5 running back, because anything can happen, then that's when you think you really can have yourself a year. But for me, I think you need to land one of your other picks to be like some total gem. I think to be the top team, but it's possible, man.
Oh, we will. We have. I think Cup's going to be that guy, but we'll see.
Yeah. So right now, the only A votes I have are my let me show real quick. This team, which is obviously mine, or ours, team, Smitty, the show, and Couch. So these two in this shot right here. These are the only A scored teams I think I can give.
Just two? So you gave yourself two?
I gave me and Couch A.
Okay. So I gave myself as the only A, and then I gave you and Couch B's and Analyst a B+. So those were my top.
Okay, so let's look at Expert. I don't like this team at all. I love Adams, obviously. You can't argue that. But Connor and Mac, again, Connor, I've been talking about it. You've been talking about it. I've been doing videos on it since January. The biggest bust candidate at his previously held value of top 12 overall. And now look at him. He's a late second rounder. Even there now, he's a lot of risk. Mac is a huge risk. Good upside, but not as your third drafted player. Adams is strong. I give this team a C- to a D.
Yeah, I really feel bad for Expert because I feel like his team doesn't reflect who he is. Expert is arguably the analyst I respect most. But yeah, his people went against him. Cook should be on his team. But to be quite frank, I think Expert didn't do himself any favors by pushing for Mac. I'm not a Mac guy. Injury prone, doesn't catch, passing offense. You have Hines there. Not a Mac guy at all. So I'm surprised. I thought Expert would be my biggest competition, but right now he's in the bottom of the barrel.
This right here, Bell, Aaron Jones could be very, very good running backs considering the fact that he has Odell too. So I give this team a B+, to be honest. I like it a lot. There's risk. Both his running backs could be complete flops, or there could be some bust value there for both of them, but they could also both be top 10, no question. So and Odell's got risk too, so I think it prevents him from being an A, but I think definitely has a B to B+ potential.
I think this is the wild card right here. If this team stays healthy and everybody lives up to their potential, and Bell's the top 5 to 10 running back, and Aaron Jones is the top 10 to 15 running back, and Odell Beckham's the number 1 receiver in the league, like I think he could be, then this could be as good, as deadly a team as any. But then reality hits. Bell hasn't played in almost 2 years. Aaron Jones has 2 strained MCLs in a row. OBJ gets injured every single year. With that said, I cannot give this team an A, or even a B, because I don't like where he picked Bell. I thought the OBJ pick was solid. I thought Aaron Jones was solid. I'll give it a C+, just because of the injury risk is so high for that team.
Yeah, so I don't know, before we jump off, I'm not sure if you want to just talk about some of the biggest busts and reaches of the draft and steals. But I think
so we're just going to talk about Counselor?
He's going to take up a lot of our time. But David Johnson, clearly the biggest shocker in this draft.
Oh, my God.
That was no one could have seen that coming.
No, but that's the thing, bro. That's not even the pick I'm most. It's Derrick Henry, bro. Derrick Henry, because he was, the Counselor was pumping this up. We're going to change it. I got this master plan, so I'm getting scared and shit. So when I see Derrick Henry, bro, I was lost. I was like, what? He can't be serious. I swear to God, I thought we'd been punked. I thought he was on Ashton Kutcher's punk, like this was a joke. He was going to come out and say, trick you guys, I'm not that dumb.
Yeah, I did like the whole, we got a plan. Believe me, we're going to unleash the plan. The plan was, prove us wrong, Counselor. That's why we love you. But definitely thinking that the 2 of his picks were some of the biggest surprises. I think probably, okay, so looking down the list here, I don't see anything out of whack all the way to T.Y. Hilton at 2.05. Like you said, over Cook, over Mike Evans.
AB.
Yeah, that's just, T.Y. Hilton does not belong in the top 16.
Adam Thielen, I would have took Adam Thielen over him, easy. And Keenan Allen.
Hilton can ball, but as your 3rd or 4th player that you hope plays like a guy that you're kind of, but he has to deliver at this point. Connor, I don't like at 16 overall, but that's his value's at least dropping. Yeah. Early at 18, I think is going to burn
way too high.
I obviously love the top 4 running backs. They're all sleepers now in this draft because of DJ going at the top. I like your Chubb pick. I think that could work out. Odell, I think, is great at 15 overall. I love the Cook pick that we did. I love the Evans. I love the Kittle. So Cook, Evans, Kittle went back to back at 21, 22, 23 overall. And then there's the Derrick Henry. I
thought Kittle was a bit high.
I thought Kittle would have fell.
That's end of the second, bro?
Yeah, I thought Kittle would have
high, dude.
Kittle's value is in getting him in the third round. I think he could be as good. I know you're not as high on
I even think the third round's high for Kittle.
I think Kittle could be the number one tight end in fantasy this year. But the value is in getting him in the third round, because if you have to take Kelsey in the second, you oftentimes have that awkward looking team when you come out. And at least if you're banking on Kittle like I am, and you get him in the third round, you can have that early tight end and still have a very balanced team. So yeah, that was crazy. So then Ertz, I would say Ertz is probably Ertz and Fournette. And Ertz and Fournette, I think, are the other big crazy picks in this draft, mainly because of who took Ertz. They already had Kelsey.
I just think, honestly, bro, this is how I feel about Ertz. I do not like players that have other stud players behind them. And Go Dirt is a monster. They're not going to just keep, they're going to, and I understand they'll probably do a lot of 2 tight end sets. But like I said, Go Dirt is going to eat. He's going to take away from his red zone looks. So it's going to be like one of those situations when Gronk and Aaron Hernandez back in the day. So I think Ertz is going to have a huge regression this year. He had over 100 receptions. That's not happening this year.
Okay, so we had a lot of people talk about this Dairy Queen ad that I did for the Throne. So we're going to watch it.
That was hilarious.
We're going to watch it real quick because someone asked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear that?
Yeah. Do you guys still have the counselor dog? It's a little wiener. Okay. It's okay.
I was going to ask it again.
Yeah.
Anyways, so everyone keeps asking me. It's crazy. I should have did it longer. They're like, "What happened after that?" I literally drove away, went to the gourmet pizza place down the street that I had already ordered food from.
So what did you ask the pizza place? Do they have the counselor sausage?
I should have said, "Can you find it?" No one can find it. Just kidding, counselor. Counselor's a good sport. Like, he even commented in that.
Yeah, bro. You
can't
take yourself too serious.
He could take a punch at least.
Yeah, he certainly gives it. He should be able to take it.
Yeah. I also, I'm going to do more of those. I'm asking my followers to enter my sleeperu.com membership contest, where they post a crazy thing like that, promoting both Fantasy Football Throne and my site. So I've got a lot of good entries, man. They're pretty good. I had one lady walking in a food court at a mall yelling, "Fantasy Football Throne!" like really loud, so I'll post that.
Joe, whoa, what happened here? Oh, shit, my bad.
No problem. All right, so, okay, man, I think that's going to wrap it for today. That was pretty cool. I think I might try and post that video, because that was a pretty good breakdown, I think, of everything.
Yeah, I agree, man. All right, brother. Always good chatting with you guys, and thanks, everybody, for giving us a view here on the live. And there's plenty more to come. It keeps getting better, guys. I feel like every round it's more challenging. It's going to be like chess.
Yeah, and we might have something cooking for the season, so stay tuned. The rapper and I might be doing more stuff together. So
keep
that on the later, man.
All right, bro.
All right, so I'm going to jump. But yeah, the rapper and I have some plans in the works, so get ready for that. If you like the way we jive together, big things coming for 2019. Get ready for it.
Given the... You're watching the Fantasy Football Show.